Hi everyone, this is Janelle from the Customer Success team, and today I wanted to show you how to utilize naming conventions within Funnel. So you can go ahead and head over under the Organize section, and then there's where you'll find the Naming Conventions tab. And then once you click into it, you'll get this window, and then you can jump directly into creating a naming convention. Here you can give your convention a meaningful name and then set up your first pattern. So for this example, I'm going to do a Google Sheets and LinkedIn convention. So over here, we have our first pattern. A pattern defines the structure of your naming convention. So this includes the number of parts in the name and the separators used to distinguish them. So for this example, we'll use Google Sheets. And here I have my Google Sheet with my campaign name, and this is how it would be set up based on region, business unit, goal, channel, tactic, and audience. Jumping back in here, since I know it has those 6 parts and that they're separated by an underscore, if I go into campaign for this, as you can see, there is an underscore separating them. And then over here is where we establish the parts. So as I mentioned, there was region, and then we can create that as a new variable, business unit, goal, and audience. So now that we've set the variables, which are the named part of the pattern that you can configure and validate, we can go ahead and click into this edit button here. And then, for example, for region, for the character limit, you have the option to say that their value should have at least this many characters or a max amount of characters. For example, if I don't know the amount of characters that'll appear in this variable, but I know it shouldn't be empty, I can say a minimum of 1 character here. And then also here in the bottom, if the validation fails, then it'll be displayed or highlighted in yellow, and then you can choose whether you want to keep the original value or skip it. In allowed values, I can include the values that I know can appear for the variable. So for example, if I knew that North America was going to be a value, then I can go ahead and replace this with North America if I wanted to. If none of the values that you included here match with one of the existing values, then we'll highlight it yellow to let you know whether you can choose to keep the original value or skip so you won't see it. So now that we have this in place, I can go ahead and jump back into my Google Sheet, and then I just copy these values, jump back into Funnel, and I'll just paste these values here. So now that we have this, we can go ahead and apply that. And then same thing over here. I'll go into allowed values, copy the allowed values for the business unit, jump back into Funnel and paste those. And I'll do the same for the rest of the variables. Being able to copy and paste those values makes it super easy to work with large data sets. So now that we've gotten our first pattern done, since naming conventions can vary across different platforms, you can define multiple patterns and then group them by platform for better flexibility. So over here, I'll start a new pattern and then I'll go ahead and do it for LinkedIn. As you can see, if multiple platforms have the same pattern, you can just tick them off and apply it for multiple platforms. For this one, I'll just use LinkedIn as an example. And then over here, I can go ahead and test my data. And I can see that for campaign, it has 4 parts. And they're separated by an underscore. And now I can see that these are the dimensions or the variables that I created up here. And so for the first one, I know it'll be region. For the second one, we don't have that one yet, so I can just create it here as a new variable, country code. For this, we'll just say tactic, and then for the last one, say audience. Now, as you can see, this immediately highlighted yellow because when we created the variable audience here, we didn't include a G. So we can go ahead and include that now. And then jumping back in here, you can see it doesn't have any yellow to it. And then lastly, for country code, we haven't put any values yet, so we can go ahead and include those. So it would be KO, KR, US. And then there we have it. Now the different country codes are taken into account over here. So now that we have our two patterns established, we can go ahead and click continue. And then over here, you have to choose an input field for the adherence to be checked against. So since we've been doing it based on campaign, I just chose campaign, but you can do it based on any of these. And then over here, we have the different variables that will be created into dimensions. So if you already have a dimension for one of these, then you can go ahead and tick it off and we won't create an entirely new one. But we do recommend for you to include these dimensions so that we have this to compare it to in regards to the adherence rate for the different patterns. And then you can also utilize these dimensions to slice and dice your data further in the Data Explorer or in your reports. So then we can go ahead and save and apply convention. And as you can see here, we have a 74% overall adherence rate. Here are the different dimensions that we've created. So jumping into LinkedIn, as you can see, everything matches up perfectly. It was 4 parts, and we've taken into account all of the different values within these variables. And then for Google Sheets, over here, there was a missing separator, so there was just a blank field that did not contain any separator, so that's why it was included in here. Over here, we have some yellow fields highlighted because we didn't take into account for these values when we were creating these two variables. And then we also have an incorrect number of parts. So this is because 2 of these campaigns actually did have a 7th part to it, just some free text that we didn't include, since we just mentioned that there would be 6 parts for Google Sheets. So with that, there's basically 3 key criteria that we take into account for the adherence rate, which would be using the correct delimiter, valid values, and having the correct number of parts. But that is all from me. Over here, you can see the different patterns, and then you can always go in and edit them. When you go into your dimensions tab, and you go into the different dimensions that were created, you can see that this was marked as generated from a naming convention, and then you can always go click in here as a shortcut to go and edit that specific convention. If you have any further questions, please feel free to reach out to the support team at support@funnel.io or through our in-app chat, and we'd be happy to help. Thank you so much.